Hello YouTube! I have a rather large stack of books with me here today. They actually just fell over, so they're not a stack anymore. And today I'm going to be filming my first installment of the Pop Sugar 2015 Reading Challenge. I have a printout right here, and I know it's only January. I don't normally read this much, but I haven't really had anything else to do. We only get basic cable where I am right now, no internet or anything. I'm on break from school. My job last summer is overstaffed now, so they didn't need me to come back, so I've been spending like 80% of my day reading, and I did start this a few days before January, maybe like December 28th or something, so some people might say that's cheating, but whatever. It's a personal challenge, it's not a competition, so I can do it however I want. So I'm just going to go in order of what I've already done so far. A book with more than 500 pages, I read The Invention of Hugo Cabret. Now, this might be cheating because like more than half the book is pictures, but it's a book I've been wanting to read for a long time. I highly recommend this book. It's kind of an easy read. You could probably read it in a day or two, even though it's so fat. It's because it's a lot of pictures, and I honestly thought that was really cool. Plus, I'm reading other books that are more than 500 pages, so it's not really cheating. Like, my current book that I'm reading right now is Stephen King, Dr. Sleep. I haven't finished it, I'm only that far in. But this book is more than 500 pages, so whatever, I'm just counting it for that category. The next one is a classic romance, and I did Pride and Prejudice. Now, I guess I liked this book. I don't know, I only gave it 2 or 3 stars on Goodreads. I thought you could cut out half the book and still get the gist of it. Like, just cut out a chunk in the middle and you wouldn't miss anything. It was the kind of book where I didn't really look forward to reading it, but once I started, like 10 minutes into it, I didn't want to put it down. And it went that way for like 3 days it took me to read it. 10 minutes in, I was hooked. I wanted to read it for like an hour, but leading up to that, I didn't really care. I don't think my book is an official book. It's got some typos and stuff. But I think maybe the copyright has run out on it or something, so it doesn't matter. I don't really know, but the next one I've done so far is a book with non-human characters, and I did Dust City. It wasn't great. It's definitely geared towards someone younger than I am. Maybe it was a little too young for my tastes. It has an interesting concept. The back said, "When your dad is the wolf who killed Little Red Riding Hood, life is no fairy tale." And I mostly got this because of the cover and the back cover. I read that. And I picked it up. I got it for like 10 bucks for like $10 because the bookstore was going out of business and it was like the last day they were selling any books. So I just got a bunch of books. I didn't mind reading this, but I think it was a little young for me. I thought the premise was pretty cool though, so it's interesting. You should look it up if it's something you might be into, if you like maybe middle grade, not YA. The next one I don't have a copy of, but it's a book with magic, and I read The Night Circus. My copy is on loan. That book was amazing. Everyone should read it. I loved it. I don't even know what to say about it because I don't want to give anything away, but it was so good. I think everyone should read it. 5 out of 5 stars easily. The next one is a book with a one-word title, Proxy by Alex London. I made a little short video about this that I probably haven't put up yet. I don't know, it depends when I have internet. I have to go to a cafe to use the internet. This one is actually a pre-release version. I don't know if the cover actually looks like this for the official cover. This book was also really good. I know we're kind of over dystopian, but you should check this book out. It was really interesting. Again, I did a little video about it, only a couple minutes long, if you want to learn more about it. I don't want to repeat myself. The next one I actually read a few days before the new year, so it's kind of cheating. It's Deep State by Walter John Williams. This is the second book in a series that I read the first one to a long time ago. It's about a woman, and she does like video game design that's partially real life, partially online. It's a really cool concept, and I highly recommend this book as well. So I would recommend it if you're looking for like a thriller. I don't know how to describe it. It's a thriller though, and it's really interesting. And this one is for the category a book set in a different country. A non-fiction book. I did Bad Girls. It's got some really beautiful pictures like this. I thought it was going to have more information. Each girl is only featured for like 2 or 3 pages, and it's stuff you could just learn by going to the Wikipedia article. So I'm glad I only spent a few dollars on this book. The cover's kind of falling apart, so I got it for like $3. So I'm glad I didn't spend any more on it. I don't really recommend it because, again, if you want to look up any of these people, you can just go to their Wikipedia page and learn more about them than you did in this book. The next one is a book based on a true story, and I chose the Neil Patrick Harris autobiography. I was going to do this one for an autobiography, but it's the choose your own autobiography, and some of the things in here are like dead ends, like, oh, you died because you chose the wrong one or whatever. So I said it was a book based on a true story, not an autobiography. It's kind of both, I guess. I don't know. It was really interesting. Neil Patrick Harris is a pretty interesting celebrity. I enjoy him as a person a lot. So if you need an autobiography that's kind of silly, I recommend this one. Next is a book you were supposed to read in school but didn't. I chose The Great Gatsby. I was afraid of doing poorly in school, so I always have read all of the books that have been assigned. But this is a book that all of my friends who live in the city have read in school, but my school opted not to. So I chose this one. It's a classic, everyone knows about it. Not a memoir. I chose Tina Fey, Bossypants. Again, this was really good. I started reading Amy Poehler's autobiography, and that got me hooked. I've been reading a lot of autobiographies lately, and obviously Tina Fey and Amy Poehler go hand in hand. I got this book for free at the dump. My local dump has a book swap where you can put books down and pick books up. It's pretty cool. So I got this book there for free, and I did really enjoy it. Not as much as Amy Poehler's, but if you're looking for a funny autobiography, this one was pretty good. It wasn't like laugh out loud, whatever, but I smiled at it a lot. I had a lot of fun reading it. A book from your childhood. I chose Wilma Unlimited. I still have a few of my favorite picture books. And again, this one could be a memoir if you really wanted to stretch it. But this is a book that I've had for as long as I can remember. And I think it was really inspiring. Like, don't give up. She's the first woman with polio to walk again, and she ran in the Olympics or something. And I really enjoy this book. I'm glad I still have it on my shelf. A book that made you cry. We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. At the end, when you find out like what really happened, I cried just a little bit. I don't cry at books or movies very often. It's more like teared up. I didn't really cry, but it's pretty impressive if it made me cry at all. This book definitely deserves all the hype that it gets. It's not a perfect book by any means, but I really enjoyed reading it. Picked it up because it's been popular on the internet and it deserves it. Next, a graphic novel. Sandman, the first one, Preludes and Nocturnes, partially by Neil Gaiman. I didn't count this as his first novel because I think graphic novels are in a different category, in my opinion. They're definitely books and written by the author, but I don't think I'd call it a novel proper because it is a graphic novel. And at first I was kind of had to force myself to read it, but about halfway through I was like, this is so good, I want the rest of them. So again, if you're looking for a graphic novel, this is a pretty good one. I'm definitely going to be picking up more in the series. I can't believe I haven't read this sooner. Next is a book by an author you haven't read before, The Forsaken by Lisa M. Strasse. Again, this is another one that I got because it was really cheap in that 10 books for $10 type thing. The cover literally gives nothing away. It's just a picture of a girl, and then on the back, so like just without opening it, it gives nothing away. And I thought that was really interesting, and that's probably the reason I picked it up. It's about some people and they get sent to an island, but they get sent to this island and it's supposed to be for criminals, but none of them are criminals. So they're all like, why did I get sent there? I thought the romance sucked. I hate that. Why does every YA novel ever go, oh, I saw him and we had an instant connection and then like a month later we kissed and it was love at first sight and now we're never gonna break up? Because that's not the real world. I thought it would have been so much cooler if when she saw him at first and she was like, I recognize him, what the hell is this? And then they meet and then they find out like they're siblings or something. I thought that would have been so much cooler than, oh, we have this instant connection, it's totally love. Because that's how it felt. It felt juvenile and I didn't like it. That's like, I dock it a whole star for that romance. I'm so tired of that aspect in YA books. There was so much more dimensional things she could have done with it. Like, again, the sibling or something. I don't know. I still recommend it. I still enjoyed this book. And finally, Little Bee by Chris Cleave. This one is for an author that shares your initials. My initials are CC. His initials are CC. I just went to a used bookstore and browsed the C section until I found one that was CC. There was no mystery ones. There was no this. So when I found this one, I was pretty excited. I picked it up. And when I first saw it, I was like, oh, the cover's cool, whatever. I did a little more research into it. It's a white guy writing a young black girl. So when I heard that, I was all like, no. Not like in a social justice-y way, but like, they're two completely different people. I know, like, you don't have to know what you write. Hello, white men writing, you know, elves and stuff. So that's some BS, but I didn't know. I was iffy about that. But then, when I read it, this was a really good book. I wouldn't have picked it up if I didn't need to do this challenge. But I was surprised at how good this book was, seeing this little white guy's picture there, and knowing that he was writing a refugee, a young black girl refugee point of view. I was surprised at how good this book was. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. It's not my normal cup of tea, but again, it was surprisingly good. And I highly recommend it if you want something that's outside of your comfort zone. Okay, I know that's a lot of books for under a month. I don't normally read that much. I'm already a quarter of the way through my Goodreads challenge for 2015, but I have had literally nothing else to do.